threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Man, this song is
good.
it's bumping. Like I can't
I just
help
have it on loop.
Can't help but
around
like
town.
nod my head. Like when it comes on, it's like
Just this beat going all the time.
you got it like in your headphones, seeing patients.
It just doesn't end.
over
Just
and
a loop and loop.
over and over again. Great
My
idea.
run is right in rhythm with it.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. That's a slow run.
That is a very slow run,
Or you
which
gotta
is
jump
pretty
high.
much my normal
Yeah.
run.
Well, welcome to the podcast studio today, Cameron. We are excited about today's episode.
Yeah,
Aren't we?
we are.
Okay, what are we talking
Radios
about?
are great, right?
Man.
The weather radio is the best radio you can own.
It really is. Something
So-
about it just makes me...
But all those emergency alert systems we need to be aware of.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Emergency information, emergency
Yeah.
alerts, that's what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
And then a little special piece on the weather radios.
Exactly. Well, it's just a big piece of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. All those emergency alerts. You
Yeah.
need to know which ones to watch out for and which ones are fake.
Do you know where I've gotten several emergency radios? BattleBox.
I think all mine came from that.
Probably. It is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box. Could be an emergency radio. But here's a sampling of what users received this last month. The BattleBox custom wallet. And if you got credit cards or cash, great for that. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good
The
thing.
Deadfish German Kiritsuke Duo.
That is such a cool
Oh my
knife.
gosh, dude. I cut some stuff with it the other day.
Me too.
And it was beautiful.
Piece of cheese.
Piece of cheese. That's right. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
Isn't that dead fish the one that has the cutting board on it?
Yeah.
Such a cool knife.
That's so rad.
Love these guys. Great.
I like it. There's like a comma. Great.
You guys are fantastic, and the whole family gathers to listen to your podcast.
Ooh.
Come on, little Cam and Colby. Come listen to the podcast.
Come on, listen to Uncle Cam and Uncle Colby. They're going to tell you a little something. Dude, I love just thinking about that.
I
Makes
know.
me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know
Just
why.
Gather around, gather around.
Gather around.
They're just playing it through like an old system.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
And
so
there's
cool.
like, dun, 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 dun.
Kids are all.
Yeah. I'm going to get my banjo, Dad. Play along today.
I got my friend still.
I got my flint steel.
But awesome, thank you.
Yeah. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave us a 5-star review. Make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
You know, it's hard enough these days to be a cattle rancher. I don't know if you've heard,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
ain't easy doing it. I
Sure
mean, your
isn't.
family knows they got the dairy cows, but you know it's harder and harder and harder, and it gets even harder when people start mutilating cattle.
Yes.
So
Is it people?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. So Texas authorities are investigating the deaths of 6 cattle that were found with their tongues removed, no blood spilled, and no signs of struggle.
What?
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, this is so weird. The cattle were found along Texas Highway in Madison, Brazos, and Robertson County. Ranchers told the Madison County Sheriff's Office that a 6-year-old Longhorn Cross cow had been found lying on her side and mutilated. That a 6-year-old Longhorn Cross cow. That doesn't sound like
Ain't
Charles.
no normal cow.
Nah, that was my Longhorn Cross cow.
So just the tongue missing.
This is weird stuff, dude. A straight, clean cut had been made with apparent precision to remove the hide around the cow's mouth on one side, leaving the mat under the removed hide untouched. The sheriff's office said the tongue had also been completely removed with 0 blood spill.
How?
I know. How?
What?
The sheriff's office said there were no signs of struggle.
That's
and there were-
alien technique there.
There were no signs of footprints or tire tracks in the area. Stranger still, no predators
No
or
rings? No crop
Nothing.
circles or anything?
Stranger still, no predators or birds would scavenge the remains of the cow, leaving it to decay for several weeks. 4 adult cows and 1 yearling were discovered under similar circumstances. Let's see. One on 2 of the 5 cows, a circular cut had been made, removing the anus and external genitalia.
Well, that makes sense.
With the same precision as the cuts around the jaw lines of each cow. With each
That's a
discovery, there
weird
were
old fetish.
0 signs of struggle or disturbance, 0 blood spill, no noticeable tracks, no predators or birds would scavenge the remains.
What?
This was just recently. This was just in the last week.
What? This is over Skinwalker Ranch?
This is over in Texas.
Oh, man. That is super weird.
I know, man. So,
the aliens are doing to our cows what a white man did to the buffalo.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man.
I don't know if they were into the anus of the buffalo, but
Buffalo anus?
Angus, black anus buffalo meat.
Yeah. So anyways, weird stuff, dude.
That is super weird. Mm-hmm. Well, this one's just scary.
Okay.
So,
I don't like scary.
the WHO warns of extremely dangerous situation as Sudan fighters take over disease lab.
Sedan fighters?
Sudan fighters.
Driving cars?
Sudan.
Okay, Sudan.
But Saddam Hussein.
Sedan.
But yeah, like I never really thought much about this where they're doing all those freaky weird studies with viruses and bacteria and stuff in those areas that are like at risk for terrorism.
Yeah.
That is scary.
That's not fun.
There is a high risk of biological hazard in the Sudanese capital of Khartoum. Khartoum, I don't know how to say that. After one of the warring parties seized a laboratory holding measles and cholera pathogens and other hazardous material.
Gosh.
The WHO said on Tuesday. This is the main concern. No accessibility to the lab. Technicians to go to the lab and safely contain the biological material and substances available. They can't go in there and like keep it all under control, like just flowing out of pipes.
These are my diseases now.
I can't keep them cool anymore. The fighting erupted between the Sudanese armed forces and rapid support forces paramilitaries on April 15th and killed at least 459 people and injured 4,000 over 4,000 according to WHO's latest figures. But on the side, there's a big old building full of diseases that is going unchecked and now in the hands of terrorists. And
wonderful.
Or whatever what's going on over there. But I'm like, that's terrifying to think. I never even thought about those things falling into the wrong hands.
Yeah, it's not
That's
good.
Scary stuff.
That's bad, in fact.
So, yeah, anyway.
Well,
sleep on that.
Just in case something does happen, I'm hoping you're getting your emergency
alerts. If you're going to
Sudan,
then watch
Gonna
out.
head out to Sudan for vacation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about emergency alerts, Cam. Yeah. Emergency alerts, emergency information. It's super crucial, right? We're going to talk about all of it today, but let's start at the very beginning. Like, what is it? What are we talking about? So when emergencies strike, whatever that might be, public safety officials, and there's many different agencies and people who do this, they use timely and reliable systems to alert the public, right? And most people just like take this for granted. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're going to send out, they'll get it somehow.
Because they're all just watching Fox News or whatever. It's like, I'll just get it all from that.
No more. Took a call from the gone.
Yeah.
No more.
I should have put that in the mad
You should have. Oh, yeah. So they send out these alerts on multiple platforms, all of which Cam and I are going to discuss today. But who sends them out? Who is it?
Who? So the WHO does?
They probably do. I mean,
sure.
They probably have access to do that kind of thing. But federal agencies and state, local, tribal, and territorial governments are eligible to send alerts.
Your local tribe.
Yeah.
Go send out an alert.
Yeah. Well, we do have a local tribe here, which is interesting.
That's true.
Other public or private sector organizations may also be eligible, depending on their public safety mission, which is interesting. Didn't really know that. There's like private sector organizations that can do that kind of thing. So why are these emergency alerts important? Why should you, as a prepper or someone who wants to be more prepared, why should you care? Because, man, information in any survival situation, in any emergency situation, it's key, right? It's like one of the most important things, one of the most important preps that you can have is information. And timely information is even more important because getting the information before an event happens or as quickly as possible as an event is happening could honestly mean the difference between life or death.
Yeah.
It really could. So you as a prepper, you as someone who wants to be more prepared can set yourself up to get that information that you need when you need it. And that's kind of like the whole point of what we're talking about today is like, just don't take for granted that you're going to get this information somehow. Just don't under the normal course of action during your day, because you need to set yourself up to make sure that you're getting these things when you need it.
Yeah, it's
You know?
true. You do kind of overlook that. You're just like, oh, it'll probably be posted on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I follow Dwayne Wade on Facebook. He'll probably let me know.
yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. But so honestly, like
And
I
a
said,
lot of these seem like kind of prehistoric, like
Yeah.
really old systems that you're like, do we need to pay attention to these anymore?
yes, like who listens to the radio?
Right.
You know, who listens to podcasts?
I got Sirius radio. I ain't listening to the local stuff.
You serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, but like again, like having a warning, having this type of information, in a sense, is just as important as having food and water.
yeah, it
Like
really is.
it really is, and so you need to think about it. You need to discuss this with your family and in your group and all that kind of stuff. But also thinking about having updated information during a disaster is going to be super important to know, like when to bug out if you need to, when to come back if you know. Like there's just a lot of information that you need to
Yeah.
continue to get as an event is unfolding or an event is over, right?
Yeah.
So when are these things most likely used? Like what type of events? And we all know like the weather events. We've heard the emergency alerts on the radio or on the television. If anybody watches television anymore, over the air television or cable, we've seen the weather events. Like there's a tornado coming, or there's a severe thunderstorm with a flood warning, all flash flood warnings. Those types of things we know about. Messages from the President of the United States. I'm out of tapioca. Somebody bring it. Right? I mean, that's what we probably get now.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting mad at
You're
me.
going to be in big trouble now.
Big trouble. I like chocolate pudding.
National alerts. The Casual Peppers podcast are terrorists.
That's exactly what they would say too.
Watch out.
Yeah, so messages from the President of the United States, whatever that might be, whatever situation that might be, that he can send them out.
Yeah.
He can do that. He has the authority and the power to do that. Statewide emergency information.
He just has the mic hot
yeah.
all day long.
Carries it's in the briefcase.
closet.
It's in the briefcase with the
in the bathroom.
the nuclear codes. Right next to it.
Yeah.
Statewide emergency information. So your state can send these out, and then local emergency information, like for a station's operational area, like evacuation and sheltering plans, those types of things.
Right.
So that's kind of like the overall what we're talking about today. Emergency
all the
alerts.
different forms of it and
Yeah.
why we have it.
Yeah,
and
we're going to talk about like how is this sent out? In which ways do they send this out? Which information do they send out? How do you receive it, and all those types of things?
yeah. So let's talk about EAS. EA Sports.
It's in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ruined every sports game. The emergency alert system, formerly the emergency broadcast system.
Yeah.
Until 1997.
That's old
For you
school.
old dogs.
Yeah.
But I remember that.
Broadcast
I
system.
remember the emergency broadcast system.
I do
I
too.
didn't realize that it had switched to this. I'm like, maybe that one just faded out and this one bottomed out or something.
Yeah, it was a takeover.
But they switched it over. It's a national public warning system that allows the president to address the nation within 10 minutes during a national emergency. Quick fact, it's never been used for a national emergency.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane to me.
See, I thought for sure it had, and
Me
I tried
too.
to look it up, and
No
and-
national use ever.
No.
There's always been just local and like little state things.
Like I was like, well, maybe they did during 9/11, but
That's what I thought.
It didn't
So
happen
9/11 and they never did.
I'm trying to think when they could have. Like, what would be? Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's been real safe for everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it,
That
it's
is
really
good.
not
That
bad
is,
that we
yeah.
haven't had to for a national.
So that's kind of
emergency.
crazy. We have that system for a national alert, and we've never had to use it. So that's good.
That's awesome.
But, anyways, state and local authorities may also use the system to deliver important emergency information such as weather information, imminent threats, Amber Alerts. Get those all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Local incident information targeted to specific areas.
We're probably both wrong on that, and it's been used before, and somebody's going to mess
No,
with us.
I looked everywhere, but
did too,
yeah,
but-
somebody probably be like, no, back in 65.
Nah, not that
It had been,
65.
I think I'd read that it had been it's been used like between 1960 something and 1995, like 20,000 times, but never at a national level. Probably way more than that, but
Yeah.
the EAS is sent through broadcaster, satellite, digital audio services, direct broadcast satellite providers, cable television systems, and wireless cable systems. So it basically goes through anything that you're getting.
What about Netflix?
It's going through Netflix. Yeah. The president has sole responsibility for determining when the national level EAS will be activated.
That's the whole thing, though. Like, how many people actually watch television, listen to the radio?
That's the thing, yeah. There's some
anymore.
limitations for sure.
Like, so now that's
and I'll
why.
talk about those limitations.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like this is really a good discussion because, like, I don't have television. I rarely listen to the radio,
I know. Same here.
you know, and so you gotta be
Everybody be
thinking,
evacuating and be like, what?
what are you guys doing? Oh, hey, see you leave town, leave this place to
Everybody
me.
going on a trip same time? Weird. But
Yeah.
so FEMA and the FCC are responsible for the national level tests and exercises
Makes sense.
and accidents.
Yeah.
The EAS is also used when all other means of alerting the public are unavailable. So most of the time, like a lot of other things have gone through.
Yeah.
And there's another, and I'll talk about those limitations in just a second. EAS is a front end to integrated public alert and warning system, the iPause.
Oh,
Beep. You just put pause on.
I pause. PAWS. It's like an iPhone for a dog.
I know. That to me sounds like something you can, subscription at Petco.
Yeah, it does.
I got iPause
I got
subscription.
iPause.
Get
They-
food delivered to me.
Yeah, they just delivered that kibble right to my door.
Got a cat litter coming in every month.
Yeah, get that. I need that.
Thanks for the iPause.
My lizard food.
Apple's new iPause app
iPause.
for your pet, which coordinates the distribution of alert information via multiple channels, including the EAS, the WEA, which you'll talk about, the wireless emergency
WEA.
alerts, and then the common alerting protocol, CAP.
No cap.
No, all caps.
All caps.
So the limitations, the EAS
Yeah.
can only be used to relay audio messages that preempt all programming, as the intent of an emergency action notification is to serve as a last-ditch effort to get a message out if the president cannot get to the media.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is-
So that makes sense.
So that's why it's kind of a backup and not really So it can easily be redundant by the immediate and constant coverage of major weather
Yeah.
events and other newsworthy situations. So most of the time we're just getting, all the other news feeds from everything else. So,
Also, like one of my favorite things in apocalyptic type prepper movies is when the president cuts in on TV. It's
Yep,
like,
they
oh,
always have to show that.
You gotta. But I love it. It's like
All
one of
the
my favorite.
channels, same thing on every channel.
Same thing on every station.
Yeah. So the trend of cord cutting has led to concerns
Mm-hmm.
that viewers' lessened use of broadcast media in favor of streaming video service would inhibit their ability to receive emergency information. The READY Act called for an inquiry into the distribution of alerts via internet platforms. So they're looking into it.
So they don't have that yet?
They do not. I didn't find that was actually in.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
They
it has
should.
never been used for a national emergency, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to read a few false alarms because I thought they were kind of interesting.
False alarm.
So EAS false alarms are on February 1st, 2005, in Connecticut, an alert was mistakenly issued calling for the immediate evacuation of the entire state.
Oh, gosh.
The alert contained no specific details on why it had been issued. The message was broadcast due to an operator error while conducting an unannounced but scheduled statewide test.
I'll bet you nobody left.
No, this can't be real. Everybody in school was like, I'm out of here.
No, I would be, if I was
Me
in school,
too.
I'd
If
be
I was in-
gone.
Yeah.
That second. Yeah.
June 26, 2007, emergency action notification was accidentally issued in Illinois when a new satellite receiver at the state's EOS accidentally connected to a live system before final internal testing of the new delivery path had been completed. The alert was followed by dead air and then an audio from a designated station in Chicago being simulcast across almost every television and radio station in the Chicago area. So it was kind of just a confusing interruption that was like dead air.
Wow.
And people were just kind of like, I don't know what to do with that. But it did come from this service, which makes you concerned.
That does.
May 19th, 2010, NOAA Weather Radio tone alert radios in the Hermiston, Oregon area near the Umatilla Chemical Depot were activated. Shortly after 5 p.m., the message transmitted was for a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Service of Pendleton, but the transmission broadcast instead was a long period of silence. It's like, emergency, and then it did nothing.
Tell me.
So that one was just kind of like a dead air mistake. September 3rd, 2016, Tropical Storm Hermine, is that what that one was? I can't remember.
Oh.
An alert was displayed on television calling for the immediate evacuation of the entirety of Suffolk County, abruptly ending with the incomplete sentence, "This is an emergency message from," and it never went on to anything else.
Man.
May 23rd, 2017, a nuclear power plant warning was issued for the Hope Creek and Salem nuclear power plants. The alert was issued for Salem and Cumberland counties in New Jersey. In a statement by the New Jersey State Police, it was a text message intended for a small group of emergency management personnel who were participating in the test, but it went out to everybody.
Oh, gosh.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, because that would freak you out if you live in a nuclear plant zone.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm done.
Any
I'm out.
warning, I'd be like, gone.
Yeah, see ya.
This one, probably the most famous one that we've talked about before, August 15th, 2017. This one would terrify me. Guam stations KTWG and KSTO transmitted a civil danger warning for the island. Guam Homeland Security described the message, which interrupted programming on the stations and was received on television. Actually, this is the one this was right before the other one.
The Hawaiian one.
Yeah. The incident impacted was strengthened as North Korea threatened, so they got an unauthorized EAS warning that there was a possible attack. And then June 13th, this was at 2018.
Yeah.
8:07 in the morning, Hawaii Emergency Management Agency mistakenly issued an emergency alert warning of ballistic missiles inbound threatening the region. I'm like, the worst possible thing they could have done is made a mistake during this time when Korea was testing a lot of long-range missiles.
And they did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
Man.
Good job.
And this guy, obviously, he resigned.
Yeah.
That made the mistake.
He works at Walgreens now.
Yeah. There were actually breaches too, security breaches, and I think there was a couple of them where they'd actually taken over the broadcasting system, and they used, one of them was alerting that there were, gosh dang it, where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. February 2013, Great Falls, Montana, a breach into the EAS system to play a false alert, allegedly warning of zombie apocalypse.
The zombie one.
We talked about that one.
We did talk about that one.
February 28, 2017, Indiana was hacked in a nearly identical manner, playing the same dead bodies audio from the February 2013 incident. I didn't know that they picked it up and used it
I didn't
again.
know that either.
January 20th, sorry if these are boring, but I just like that. They're cool. A security ledger published an investigation finding that at least 50 ES decoders by the digital alert system had not been patched for a security vulnerability. So who knows what's out there still. And then February 20th, 2020, Washington-based provider was hacked, causing approximately 3,000 customers to receive several false alerts, radiological hazard warning to be one of the many that came through that system. So anyways,
man,
I just thought I'd throw that in there. You're going to start paying more attention to EAS, and then if it gets hacked, which it could, but that's a scary thing, and that's why I wanted to mention it. It's like cyber attacks. You could use this system to send out some false alarms
chaos
and stuff.
I mean, the chaos that was caused in the Hawaii incident was just insane. Like the things that people were doing. Like,
and it's super hard to correct that stuff. Like, once you're like fleeing.
Once it's out, it's out. There's a couple of podcasts I listened to kind of about that whole situation that happened. It's the people, man, they were so scared. Like there was a guy.
I don't know that I would believe that it was somebody saying it was a false one.
I know. There was a guy who had his kids with him and they didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. He lowered his kids into a manhole in the road because
I remember you telling me that.
He didn't know what else to do. And that's
a great idea.
It's a good idea, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
You need to do something. So
but then you sit down there for 5 hours, wait for blasts? Or
I guess.
God, that's crazy.
Take your bug out bag down. I mean, of course, where do you go when you're in Hawaii? Like, there's nowhere to go.
No.
You just got to get to underground or something. So anyways.
Yeah, that
crazy. Yeah. So let's talk about the wireless emergency alerts. That's WEAs. These are the ones that most of us nowadays are more familiar with. The wireless emergency alert system was launched in 2012.
Yeah.
WEA system has been used more than 78,000 times to warn the public about dangerous weather, missing children, and other critical situations. And it's usually missing children. That's the one that I see more often than any others.
When we were in Idaho at that grocery store,
Oh my gosh,
was
yes.
that was through the wireless
That
emergency
was.
system, and I don't know, but
That was one of the most surreal moments I have ever had. Ever.
it was almost like
So-
we were almost like grinning like ear to
We were
ear
looking
about
at each
it,
other, I
but
know.
at the same time
So we were
like,
in this. What town were we in? This little
Malad,
Idaho, this little podunk town. We were on the way, I think, to your cabin, right?
It was just off I-15, and so
Yeah. And so we stopped at the grocery store to get some food to take up to the cabin. It was just us and our wives. We were all standing in line to check out. And all of a sudden, we started hearing like this emergency tone, and everybody's phone started going off in the entire store.
it was so crazy. I had never seen it like and heard it that like in sync. It was so
We were looking at each other. We're all getting our phones out, and I'm like, holy crap. And there was something going on at that point where we thought, oh, this could be.
wasn't it the old guy that was abducted?
Yeah.
It
It was an old guy that was abducted or that was lost, but there was something going on like in the world at that point where we're like, oh, is this?
Yeah, what was going on
I
at
don't
that
know if it
time?
was North Korea or something, but Cam and I
or was
just,
it right at about? I think it was right during the Ukrainian and
Maybe.
it was when Russia was invading.
Whatever it was a weird feeling.
It was
So it was like this. I'm sad to say this. It was a mix of like panic and elation that there was like something crazy going on.
as much as you feel like we go over this all the time. It's
Yeah.
still terrifying.
Oh yeah, but it was. But
the
that was
experience made me like I was like that was pretty cool. Like
It was way cool. Like I so wish I would have had.
it was like
video.
the start of a movie. It was so crazy.
Like I was half tempted to go talk to the security at the store to see if I could get the video.
that would have been
of it.
serious because
Seriously.
you would see everybody just freeze
Yeah.
and like look at their phone.
Oh my gosh,
That would've
how
been-
crazy!
And
was
who are
that?
you? Well, I'm a podcast specialist.
You okay? I'm from Utah. I know we're in Idaho. You guys got different rules,
Yeah.
but I need this.
I'm from the
footage.
Hapgood Foundation.
My grandpappy was Charles Hapgood. All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Whatever you need, sir. Anyways, WEA. It's a public safety system that allows customers who own compatible mobile devices to receive geographically targeted text-like messages alerting them of imminent threats to safety in their area. So that's the cool thing is it's geographically targeted. And again, I come back and I remember the movie Greenland. Do you remember when all their phones went off? And
Yep.
it's kind of that same type of thing. That's what we're talking about. Wireless companies actually just volunteer to participate in this because obviously the government has to have their cooperation to make this type of thing happen. The alerts are
Which
broadcast.
is really going to probably reach people
Yeah,
better than most.
it will. Yeah. Nobody's watching TV. Very rarely are they listening to the radio anymore. So the alerts are broadcast to the geographic area affected by an emergency. This means that if an alert is sent to a zone in New York, the WEA-capable mobile devices in that zone can receive the alert, even if they're roaming or visiting from another state. So that was
pretty
the cool
cool.
thing. Just like we aren't from Malad, Idaho, but our phones went off because that's where we
Yeah.
were, Man, it was a great day. Great day. It was a good time. In other words, a customer visiting from Chicago would be able to receive alerts in New York so long as that person has a WEA-enabled mobile device in
Which
the alert
is
zone.
almost all like,
Which I think is pretty much everything these days.
yeah. Unless you're still sporting like a handspring or a
Yeah.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, if you got a BlackBerry, you got more problems than not receiving emergency alerts. WEA alerts only cover critical emergency situations. Consumers may only receive 4 types of alerts in the WEA. National alerts issued by the President of the United States. So this is like a tapioca crisis or something like that, right?
Depends.
Depends crisis. I can't find my
Depends
way.
on the crisis.
Can't
But
find
yeah.
my way to the bathroom. National emergency.
There's a shortage. And we need to close down all the governments and all the government buildings and
Yeah.
divert all of our energy to making more defense.
And also, the administrator of FEMA can send out a national alert as well. Alerts involving imminent threats to safety or life. Amber alerts about missing children. And that's the one, again, that I get most often. Probably maybe once a month or something it goes off
Yeah, it
for
does.
an Amber Alert, which is great. It's fantastic.
Utah's into that.
Yeah, we love it.
Abducting children.
We just like to alert everybody.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. Alerts conveying recommendations for saving lives and property. So I mean that's if there's floods coming and things like that, they can use that. Participating carriers may allow subscribers to block all but national alerts. So you can actually block your local alerts.
I thought you could.
But you can't. It's against the law to block national alerts.
Oh, good. Okay. So you can't turn that off on accident?
You can't turn it off. There's no way
Trying
to
to
do
save battery.
Yeah.
Shutting off all
I
of
don't
your...
care about no nuclear war. Gosh.
That's interesting. Okay. I thought you could turn it off, but it won't block the national
It won't.
level.
It's against the law to actually...
I don't care
do that.
about abductions.
Yeah.
Unless it's an alien abduction.
Amber alerts. Come on. This is another reason why your phone, again, is such an important prepping tool.
It really is.
Keep it charged, keep it on you, and don't be one of those preppers that say real preppers don't rely on their
Seriously.
phone. Because you're a dummy if you say
Modern
that.
day.
Yeah, we live in the modern day. We have our phones with us all the time. It is very critical. It's a very crucial part of being prepared and getting this type of information because let alone the WEA alerts, there are billions and billions and billions of apps that you can get.
Yep, there
that
are
that can help you stay alert of different emergencies and things happening. And
Let
Cam's
me
going to
tell
talk
you
about
about
those
some
right
of
now.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a ton of apps.
There's a ton.
I was browsing through these just to look at a few, but I have like 5 or 6 that are really probably the most useful ones. Number 1, life alert. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right.
If you fall down, you push a button, done.
Yeah.
But they actually do have an app. I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, they do. Interesting.
Honestly, like one of probably if you don't have much space or you don't want a lot of crap on your phone, like the FEMA app is probably the best all around.
It's my second favorite.
You use the Red Cross one?
The Red Cross one is
your
probably
favorite?
my favorite.
That's
yeah.
the second one I had on the list
Yep.
of being most important.
I think it's the Red.
The
yeah.
Disaster Readiness app by Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
So the FEMA app, it's unique emergency alert types. You can select different types of alerts. One of the most thorough emergency apps you can get. It's not the best interface though. That's the thing it is kind of like
the FEMA,
a little old, clunky looking a bit for like modern day apps.
Mm-hmm.
Directs users to disaster resources such as shelters, disaster relief centers, first aid kits, and Casual Prepper Podcast.
That's right.
I don't know if that's on there. Allow users to stay in touch with loved ones via news and social media in times of emergency and different crises. So that one's a really good one. Kobe likes the First Aid Disaster Readiness app by Red Cross.
Yeah.
Lots of helpful information. It is a little bit, I think it's a little more organized.
It is. It feels
it's
better.
It's easier to get to things.
And maybe the FEMA app has been updated again, but the thing I like about this is that I can add different locations to get. So I'm about ready to go on
for
vacation. I'm about ready to go on vacation, so I'm going to add in a couple new locations on there, And I also I used to have a ton of family that lived out in Ogden. It's a different 3 hours from us, so I had it.
Where all the Amber Alerts come from.
Yeah, that's exactly where all the Amber Alerts come from. So I used to have Ogden on there as well, so I could get alerts what was happening in their area. So if I had to, I could help alert them because I'm sure none of them have any alerts going on. You know what I mean?
True.
So
that's true though. For my family, for my parents, I'm always like, I probably should watch Brigham. Because they're not paying attention.
Yeah, so that's why I like that one. And then it has other.
Well, nothing came up when we're watching the game show. Network.
That's right. Nothing on the paper today about it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sunday, the paper didn't say nothing about any emergency. That's exactly right with my parents. But so those two are really strong apps that have a lot of features. Not only the alerts, but they have access to different PDFs and stuff like that that we talk about all the time.
Yeah, like
setting up your
preparedness
plan
info.
and putting your details and stuff like that. And it has a lot of really basic information. It has step-by-step instructions for first aid crises.
Step. Ooh, baby.
Experts provide guidance in forms of videos and quizzes. You can take tests online.
Oh, hell yeah. That is what I need. More tests in my life.
When I'm sitting just at, church, I'm taking first aid quizzes and different...
Might as well not waste that time sitting in the pews. Get a quiz done on your phone.
Oh, man. The app contains interactive map that guides the user to Red Cross emergency shelters as well.
Yeah.
So those two are really good apps. They're free too. There's no subscription. You don't deal with any of that.
I like free.
AccuWeather is a really good app if you're worried about the weather. That's the thing. If there's very specific things that you're worried about, a lot of these apps are like narrowed down to those things. Like if you're in a tornado area, there's like a billion apps for tornadoes.
Tornado app.
Yeah, tornado
Twister.
app.
Eye twister.
Yeah. Well, looks like you can just take the tornado and break a bunch of buildings. There's a bunch of games that have tornadoes in it too. Speaking of, they said that in the basin they had a tornado touchdown.
Yeah.
Don't know
kind
how
of
true
a tornado.
that is.
It was kind of. What'd they call it? Some weird cloud formation? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Doubt it. But anyway, the AccuWeather tracks a lot of threats, including severe weather alerts.
Yep.
It's very detailed, but not all the features are free. That's the downside. It is a little overwhelming. I've kind of played with it, and it's like, I'll just stick to my old temperature app.
My Radar one's pretty good too.
My Radar is the other one that
I've
a
used
lot
that.
of websites talked about.
Is it?
I did mention Facebook because, a lot of people do post a ton of crap on there, emergencies, but you've got to take a lot of that with a grain of salt and do your own research.
You mean people aren't like super smart about everything they say?
No,
there?
I'm just saying like a lot of stuff's going to come out very quick on there, but you've got to sort through yourself.
Yeah.
I don't use it. Zello has a walkie-talkie app as long as you have a wireless connection. So as long as there's power and a wireless connection, you can use it as a walkie-talkie. So it's a pretty cool little free app just to communicate with you and your family. They also have a Pet First Aid American Red Cross app that has very similar things. Loose dog alert.
Do they have like alerts on there?
Yeah, they do. Disaster alerts.
Interesting.
But it has a lot of that information to take care of your pet and how to take care of your pet. Feral cat downtown.
Kibble spilled on Main Street.
Yeah, out of stock. All cat litter.
Cat litter.
I'm having a struggle here.
Yeah,
little Cam Hardy stroke alert just came up on my phone.
I gotta turn
get
that thing
like
off.
16
I get
times
like
a day.
10 a day. Cam had another stroke.
Mini stroke alert. Cam Hardy downtown.
Hardy app.
Yeah. Smart Traveler. This one you might find interesting. You're not going to really. Eye stroke.
Eye stroke. No, that's a different app. Don't get that one.
Yeah.
Don't get the eye stroke app.
That was mature.
Yeah. Don't download that one, kid. Don't download that one. All right.
Yeah. Comes standard on all Android phones.
It probably does.
So, Smart Traveler, the official State Department app for the U.S. travelers, invites you to see the world and have easy access to frequently updated official country information. So it's kind of cool. If you're going to travel out of the country, you can download the official U.S. app.
Am I going to get kidnapped in Mexico?
Right.
Probably.
Smart Travel also provides access to State Department's free Smart Travel enrollment program. So you can be like, I'm going here. This is what I look like. This is how much I cost.
Yeah.
So
do not pay the ransom.
So it has a lot of like things you can do prior to your trip to kind of try and keep your family safe and keep the ransom down.
Exactly. I read a negotiation book. I'm good.
So a lot of apps or a lot of websites also recommended Life 360. So it's like a friend and family tracking, GPS tracking.
I've got some people I know that have that. It seems a little intrusive. It's a little intrusive.
It is. It's expensive
Feels
too.
to me.
You get like the free part gives you like advanced location sharing, location history, crash detection, a lot of stuff that the Apple phone does anyway.
Yeah.
So, and a place alert to see family members come and go from your top places like home, school, or where they shouldn't be.
Wingers.
So, I want to see how much my parents go to Walmart.
I know.
Ding, 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 ding. These I thought were cool. Maybe something for you because you're traveling.
Okay.
So, Bridgeify. Bridgeify is actually Bluetooth enabled or Wi-Fi enabled. You don't need power. Like you don't need a internet or anything that'll connect you and your family's phones without any service.
How do they do that?
It just uses their Bluetooth. So if you can want to something happens and you want to communicate to them that are pretty local, then you're just going to use this app like Bridgeify, or Briar is a similar one for
Is it
Android.
expensive?
No, I don't think it is. I actually don't even think it costs anything.
Are you joking me?
Yeah.
We're going to be on a cruise ship, and I wondered if that would work.
It
on a
should.
cruise ship.
I would try it. Because you can.
Bridgeify.
Yeah, so.
Give me that Bridgeify.
We're sleeping, kid. Don't come over into the room.
Go find a hamburger, get away.
Yeah, Bridgeify looked pretty fancy. So, a free messaging app that works without internet, perfect for natural disasters, large events, and schools. I thought that one was pretty cool. I actually downloaded it.
Bridgeify.
You might want it.
Offline
so that
messages.
your kids can
2 stars.
like if you're in a plane and you're separate, you can chat with each other when you turn your phones back on.
Ain't that some?
Yeah. And then the CDC app. Did you put that one there?
I did,
I
yeah.
was like, that's right. They do have one.
I put a couple
actually have
more
that
there.
one on mine too. I don't know why.
That's another one that I've kept just for like the health alerts and whatnot.
Yeah.
That it's pretty good. And then the other one is the your local emergency manager or management
I haven't used
office.
that one either.
I do have that one. And so that's like for any local alerts, they will send that out specifically on these apps. So
Just
it's
a little additional to your like
Yep.
wireless
Yep.
alert system.
Exactly. So anyways, that's just
Anyways, yeah,
whatever that
those
is.
are those. Like most of those are free. Like the Smart Traveler, I think, and the Life 360 are paid. I never pay for apps anymore.
Man, neither do I.
I always find the free ones.
Except for Surfshark.
Yeah,
That's it.
That is true.
That's it. So I was actually perusing the Utah website, our local government's website, and they have a section called Citizen Alerts and Advisories. I just thought it was kind of interesting, some of the other types of alerts and advisories that they send out, and they have a couple of categories. So it's just something you may just want to look into with your local state to see what other kind of alerts that you can get. Again, the more information you can get, the better. So you might as well look into it. So they had a general category. So this is like amber alerts, air quality and weather alerts that they'll send out, consumer recall and protection alerts.
Yeah, that's good.
Health advisories.
High school fights.
High school fights, bum fights. Do you remember bum fights? Do you remember the videos they used to make where they'd get bums fighting? And you could rent it from wherever. Anyways.
I do remember a little bit about that.
And then
Never got into it.
Never really got into bum fights too much. And then they had disaster alerts, earthquakes, Utah fire info, and Be Ready.
Oh yeah,
Utah.
that was another app. There's an earthquake specific one that I actually downloaded because I'm like, that's probably one of our biggest, scariest.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Threats.
They have a travel section, so they have international travel advisories. They will send you Utah traffic alerts, construction projects, but you'd have to mute that one because it would just go off all the freaking time because it's constantly on construction. They have even fish and wildlife alerts, like waterfowl advisories and fish advisories, in case you were wondering.
Oh.
You need some fish advisories?
Yeah.
You can get that. So so you can look into those and see what
Another app was Solar Alert. It'll keep track of like solar flares and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Really.
I know.
That's cool. Anyways, that is some local advisories and citizen alerts that you could look into with your local government.
Nice. I'm going to give you a little advisory right now.
Okay.
Cybercrime's scary. It's a big deal.
It is.
And so you need to protect yourself because no matter how much you think you're going incognito on that Chrome browser, all of your stuff's still accessible, seen by other people, and tracked by criminals. So you really need to get a virtual private network, and the only one to get is Surfshark.
Yep.
It can protect you and all of your devices from online threats. One subscription isn't going to give you access to just 2 or 3. It's going to be any device that you have that connects to the internet, which is the awesome thing about it. So basically, you're going to go gray man online. You're going to shield all your information from websites and other online services. You can't, you don't have to worry about if you click on that unsafe ad, maybe on purpose or on accident. And it's going to track your emails too. If it's compromised, it's going to email and let you know that your password has been leaked. Pretty awesome stuff. Kobe was not wrong. It is the only app that I do pay for. I do pay for Surfshark because it's such a simple to use app and it keeps me protected, especially when I'm traveling, when I'm connecting to public Wi-Fi. I always turn the sucker on.
Not a bad idea.
Because you never know. You never know who's watching. The other thing that's really nice is you can actually use that virtual private network, connect to a server in a different country, and watch some special stuff on Netflix, like the UK access, their library. I've used that several times for soccer games, so pretty cool.
That's rad.
Use casual preppers for 83% off for 24 months. That gives you full 27 months for less than $60. You will not find a better deal.
Nope.
You will not find an easier app to protect yourself when you're online. So go do it. Go use Casual Preppers for the discount and be safe online.
Nice.
You can even refund for after 30 days. You don't know what you're doing.
That's insane.
So, emergency radios. So, everyone should have an emergency radio.
At least one.
Yeah. And I have several.
Yeah.
But emergency radios, so according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, recovery officials estimate an NOAA all hazards weather radio may provide as much as 8 minutes to move family and pets to a specifically constructed safe room or at least a secure location in their home. 8 minutes to protect yourself if you have emergency radio. So mobile emergency notifications are great, and that's what most of us are relying on and typically will get. But older technology such as radios have an essential role in community disaster management. Seriously, one of my favorite parts on like survival movies, and most of them have it, is they find that old radio. Like Signs has a really good scene of that when he's just like brushing off and he's like, and they're trying to find anything to listen to what's going on outside. You don't know.
Why is that so appealing? I can't figure it out.
It's just like the jets flying over at the start of the apocalypse, and then later on, it's like the best thing is like they're trying to listen to what's going on outside.
Oh, I love it, man.
And so you really do. You need to have an emergency radio to be able to listen. It's one of your biggest, most important communication devices.
Yes.
So, what information can you get from a radio during a disaster? In an emergency, staying informed is crucial, like we were talking about. And so there are types of information that a radio can provide. What's going on, like I was saying, you can kind of listen to what's being broadcast about whatever situation's going on. Keep up to date. What's going on? Is it coming to your hometown? Is it in your hometown? Often more problems develop too to kind of stack on top of those. You get a weather alert emergency, then there's power outages in certain parts of the town or flooding, and so you need to keep up on
then there's
emergency.
Food shortages,
and then there's civil
unrest.
disorder, and and then there's illnesses, and then everybody dies.
And they all come to your house.
Yes, exactly. You get official instructions. Unpredictable and chaotic nature of some disasters and emergencies, it's difficult to know what to do. Radio broadcasts include official instructions from emergency management authorities. So if you didn't keep up on learning how to do this stuff, you might be instructed over the radio, maybe, if you have time. So evacuation warnings. So you may stay and bug in, and then there may be a point that you just need to get out. And hopefully you have that radio to tell you to do so. Local resources, radio broadcasts tell you how to access local resources such as food, clean water, shows, games, rodeos.
Podcasts.
Yeah. But no, mostly like disaster aid and clean water and stuff like that. Expert perspectives.
Disaster aid, that's like a Gatorade type thing?
I'm sure it's out there. We'll have them on the
Disaster
podcast.
aid.
Interviews with local authorities, first responders, and charity executives provide insight into what's going on in your area, and morale-boosting media. You can listen to some music.
That to me is actually a huge thing, especially
I think it's probably one of the biggest things for sure.
in like a long term, even a short term, like even just hearing somebody like, oh, they're at the radio station, they're okay, they're just giving me information, everything's like it's just something about it just feels like it's gonna be okay. Somebody's giving me information that's local. I'm gonna be all right. You know, the world's not. It
does help. So
there's still civilization out there.
Exactly. So those are a lot of the reasons to have one for not only getting alerts, but kind of helps keep you informed and gives you a little relaxation.
Yeah, I like that. So a big piece of this emergency radio is the NWR, which is the NOAA weather radio. Or it's also known as NOAA weather radio,
NOAA.
all hazards.
NOAA.
Yeah, it's an automated 24-hour network
We're gonna say it.
of VHF FM weather radio stations in the United States that broadcast weather information directly from a nearby weather service office. That's that creepy voice you hear droning on about clouds in the sky and rain coming. It's so creepy sometimes when you hear it.
It's kind of creepy. You're like, it's just talking about the weather.
It's just the weather. It occasionally broadcasts other non-weather related events such as national security statements, natural disaster information, which to me feels like it's kind of a weather related event.
Right.
Probably anyways. Environmental and public safety statements such as Amber Alerts, civil emergencies, fires, evacuation orders, and other hazards sourced from the FCC emergency alert system, which we already talked about. Cool thing, as of 2016, there are over 1,000 NWR transmitters across the U.S., and it covers 95% of the population.
Dang.
Again, that's why it's so important to have this, because it's kind of your last-ditch effort for information.
set up for that, yeah.
The cell towers may be down. The TV stations may be down. The internet may be down. And
What?
yeah. So your last line of defense for getting information is going to be via radio. And most of these stations have backups. For sure, the NOAA transmitters have backups on them. So if the power goes out, they're going to still be pushing out that information. So that's why it's so critical to have an emergency radio. Whenever a weather or civil emergency alert is issued for any part of an NWR station's coverage area, many radios with an alert feature will sound an alarm or turn on upon detection of the 1050 hertz attention tone that sounds just before the voice portion of the alert message. This feels like magic. I don't know how it works.
And I was gonna just say,
I
like,
don't
I
understand
honestly think this is probably one of the biggest, most amazing technologies ever invented.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so weird.
They just turn on,
Yeah.
like out of nowhere.
It transmits some stuff through the air you can't see.
Yes.
It's gonna come into another box somewhere else and you can hear it. It's so weird.
Yeah, so any expert will tell you that a weather radio receiver for these alerts should be standard in any home. Schools should have them, churches should have them, public gathering places, they should all have them. So this is something I had thought about a while ago too. Can I just use
I
my
thought this too.
regular
I think
radio?
This is awesome, yeah.
But the NOAA emergency broadcasts are unable to be heard on conventional AM, FM receivers. Not to say that you won't get
You'll get
an
some
emergency
yeah.
alert, but these specific broadcasts cannot be heard on just a regular, your car radio, right? Weather radios with location-specific emergency alert support come in a wide range of models and form factors. You can get standalone devices which only handle the emergency service broadcast, or you can get multi-band units which allow you weather radio to perhaps double as a CB, a car radio, two-way radio, shortwave receiver, and all those kinds of things. They can run from $10 to hundreds of dollars. Again, there's a wide range in models and features and things that you can get with these radios and levels of technology. You just got to decide which one you want. Cam's going to talk a little bit more about like the specific features you can get, right? And a lot of people are like, well, aren't I just going to get alert after alert on these freaking radios?
Right.
Why should I have one of these things? Actually, nowadays, weather warnings can be filtered down to your specific geographic area based on a code called SAME, Specific Area Message Encoding.
Some don't have that.
Some do
I
not
did not
have
know that.
So you've got to determine what model you have and if your model can support SAME. The areas for this system are separated by county, and each county will have a numeric value assigned to it, which your weather radio can be programmed to scan for. And it's kind of weird because our area isn't even by county. It actually comes from Colorado.
Does it really?
It comes from Grand Junction, which is really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's a little bit on the
Thanks, but
NWR.
no thanks.
Yeah.
Grand Junction.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what is broadcast and when? And I was just going to mention this like briefly because it's not like, I just thought it was interesting that they actually have a specific.
They have a schedule.
Yeah, they have a specific schedule of what's broadcasted. So just a little taste of what they talk about here. Let me see. The programming. So at 1 a.m., area climate summary played 15-minute intervals during the period. 4:30.
Okay.
Regional forecast updated. And then you get regional weather synopsis, hazards, weather outlook, and call for action. So if you have this schedule, you can kind of look wait for that little time frame.
Set your alarm for 1 a.m.
Yeah. Hazardous weather outlook, call for action at 12 o'clock. And then at 1300, you get 3 to 5 day extended forecast. That's a good time to listen. And then at 15:30, you've got regional forecast updated. So it kind of cycles through over and over again. And then broadcast routine during emergencies, hourly roundup, weather roundup. Then you got hazardous weather.
It's time for the weather roundup on the NOAA Weather Channel.
That does sound like
You know
it.
what I mean?
And then, short-term forecast, all that stuff. So it's just kind of cool. They have this little schedule that you could print out if you're like totally into following along. with no, don't even listen to it until 1 o'clock.
Traffic and weather together on the nines.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Emergency radio builds and features.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a few times on the comms episode. I think we talked about different things, but let me talk about just a few little details on here. For one, when you're shopping for a weather radio, look for 2 features. Like these are the most important features. Designated weather alert radio. So you want one that's gonna, and I'll talk about the differences there. But and then have an NOAA logo.
Yeah, that's the easy way, because usually it's right there on the top or the front of the radio somewhere. You can see that logo, and
because you want that.
You
can't pick it up on your other radio.
Yeah, no.
So a battery. I really like the ones that you can actually put in regular batteries as well, because that's always a sure way of having a radio ready, because you don't know, it might not be charged. You're going to be cranking on that thing. The sun might be blocked with the weather and stuff like that. So you want to be able to put a battery in it and have it just ready to go for several hours. Solar, most of them come with this. The one thing I do like about the solar panels on the radios is radios don't use very much power. So it's like, that's the one thing I've found where if it sits out in the sun for just a second, you can get a few minutes of radio. And so that they actually work quite well for these.
Nice.
Crank radio. So unless you lose your arms like Kobe would prefer instead of your legs, then cranking this bad boy
I can
will
crank
always
with my
work.
toes.
Yeah. Hold it with one foot, crank with the other arm.
I think I could.
Yeah, you probably could.
I got kind of monkey toes.
These are really good devices, almost all the radios now come with like all 3. They have a solar panel on top. They have battery compartment. They have a little battery that's tucked in behind to store the solar power, or even plug in and charge it. And then most of them have a light on them too. So when you're looking, just make sure that they have those features. You might as well just get one that has all those, because that's what most of those companies make now. Ports, since you're going to be cranking and keep that power up, you might as well be charging a phone or some other device, maybe your flashlight or something like that. So ports are important on there. A lot of them do have like a USB port. A lot of them have additional little power ports on there. You even have a headset jack in case you're the designated weather alert man. Just sits there with the headphones on all day. Hey, wait a minute.
Trying to get this.
Weather report states. So, but if you have a radio and you can listen to some jams, there you go. So,
heck yeah.
Size, tons of variety here. I have one that's a little bigger than a block of cheese. And then
depends on how big your block of cheese is.
And then another one that's the size of a Cheez-It box. I'm like, I had the worst comparison of size here.
Cheese and Cheez-It box.
Yeah, so I need to get something different to visualize other than...
I'm
talking about like a pound block of cheese.
I compare everything to a block of cheese.
I do too.
How many blocks of cheese is that?
Well, I kind of understand a little bit of how tall that is, but how many stacked on end would that?
I know you said that horse is 15 hands. How many blocks of cheese is that?
That hog looks real good, but how many pounds like a block of cheese would you?
Is that like 30 blocks of cheese or 130?
Well, I know my cheese.
Yeah. Cheddar, sharp cheddar.
Yeah, but yeah, so you can get a lot of different sizes. They even have like a desktop radio, which is kind of a little bigger alert system, and typically it's digital. So there are digital and analog versions of these radio. A lot of people like to have the digital version because you can fine tune the radio system instead of like.
I'd like to get a digital one. Actually.
I would too, but I think all mine are analog.
I don't have a digital.
No, we do.
Do we?
The little FX2, whatever.
Is it digital?
That little one.
Oh, digital. It is digital, isn't it?
So
that's right.
But the desktop radio, they're good to just have in the house. They're a little stronger, a little better built. You can choose your type of alert from display, voice, or tone. I combined.
Whoa! What's this alert? Oh, mini stroke alert from Cam.
I kind of added voice and tone in one word. Voice. You can have it display the alert and only text alert. That's what your wife would like. She likes the little flasher alert on the phone.
Always, everywhere.
Yeah.
In the movies, and there's like the whole. It's like a discotheque.
Yeah, that's so distracting to me.
Oh, I hate it.
So, but you can do that. So I think your wife would like a desktop radio.
And
for
it happens
Christmas.
in the middle of the night too. Like she gets a text or something.
Yeah,
it's like my whole room. It's like I'm going into a seizure at 2 a.m. I'm trying.
All she sees is you just like digitally walking
pillow
towards
over her face. I hate this phone.
Yeah. So
Listen to my voice.
There's my voice. Yeah. So you can choose all these different types of tones.
Yeah.
Maybe you're hearing impaired and want the strobe light on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you have digital versus analog. The other thing is there's different weather radios. One's weather band, and then there's weather alert radios. And I honestly didn't know there was much of a difference, but there sure is. So not all radios instantly warn you of potential danger. Weather band radios require being powered on and tuned into a local weather station to receive the alerts. A weather alert radio automatically and instantly alerts you whether the device is on or off. So this is kind of more the one you would want, is the weather alert radio. Weather band radio, well, let me skip all that. So AM, FM, this is a nice feature to have anyway to listen to some music, local news. That can be a feature on the radio too, and typically most of them have that. That's what I think I've used mine camping more than anything for just listening to the radio. NOAA, like you were talking about, I didn't know that some of them have that feature, like you were talking about, the same feature, which is specific area message encoding. So you're not just receiving all these alerts. It's very specific to the geographical area you're in. So, for example, if you live in Florida, you're more than likely do not need to be alerted of an avalanche warning in Colorado.
Probably not.
So it will specifically be, you can code it in to where you're at and what regions you want and stuff like that. So
I wonder if you can code in several areas.
That's a good question. I did not see if you could.
Have to look into that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. With approximately 650 NOAA weather stations around the country, it's necessary to link your weather alert radio to the appropriate station. I would bet you can.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I'm going to Brigham on there, Ogden for some reason too, and then Vernal. So, and although you may be able to tune into the National Weather Service station to hear the weather, doesn't mean that the station's broadcast warning alerts. Well, that was weird. It is important to reference the NWS's complete listing of same codes for each county. So might be something you want to print out to put with your radio system. Shortwave radio, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because that is confusing stuff.
I would love to know more about shortwave radios.
Well, I ain't going to give it to you today.
I know. I'm just saying, they seem interesting.
So the thing that's confusing is shortwave radio doesn't mean that it only is a small distance. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah, it gets stuff from a long ways away.
It's the way that the radio wave is. It's a short wave instead of long, and so you actually you can receive stuff internationally with this thing. So in a way, ham radios are somewhat like this. It's just that they're not private. Like you don't have to have a license to use shortwave. You don't have to. You can get shortwave radio channels on these standard devices. I think that one of my radios does have the shortwave on there. You can pick up all kinds of weird crap on there.
Yeah, man.
So it just gives you more ability, like a little bigger ability to like listen to further away in different stations. You never know what you could pick up. This was actually used a lot more in World War II propaganda and stuff like that because it could travel very far distances. It used the ionosphere. You remember that?
I do.
What's that thing up in Alaska? That weird.
Oh, HARP.
Yeah. So it uses the ionosphere. So it's pumping out some short waves as we speak.
Heck yeah.
So anyways, a lot of different features, a lot of things to look for. But yeah. Make sure you get a good weather radio. And I need to look. I don't think mine are the weather alert radios. I think they're just
the one is. I think the yes. It's
kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
You don't have to worry about the system being letting you down because it's just going to give you an alert no matter what, like your phone.
And so we talked about, these emergency radios, but where do you keep them and where should you be keeping them? And I think there's a few places for you to consider.
In a bag, wrapped in a blanket, in my bug out bag.
I do actually have one like in a Faraday bag just in case because I figured, man, if something goes off, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being crazy, but I do have one in a Faraday bag. But the number one place you should have one is at home.
For sure.
You should have at least one emergency radio at your house because that's probably where you're going to use it the most.
That's
right?
the Cheez-It size one.
Yeah, that's the Cheez-It box size. In an SHTF situation or a bad storm, this should be constantly on, giving you the information that you need. So having one at home is key. Bug out bag. So you can consider having one in your bug out bag, but this all kind of depends on your bag's build, how heavy your bag is, how much space you have, and how how critical you think it is to have a radio in your bug out bag. It's really not that bad of an idea because you need to know when to come home.
Yeah.
You need to know what's going on out there as you're bugging out or after you've bugged out and you're there. But you can get pretty small radios.
I have that smaller one, that block of cheese size.
That block of cheese size, yeah. It's just you got to have that crucial information during your bug out that could save your life. Maybe you need to alter your route. Maybe you need to go to bug out location number 2 instead. And the only way you're going to get that information sometimes is going to be through the emergency radio. So it's a good thing to look at. Speaking of bugging out, having one at your bug out location is a really good idea as well, especially if you don't have one in your bug out bag.
Yeah.
You're going to want to have one when you get there because you need to know, when can I leave this place? Am I just guessing? Am I just going to hang around until I figure it's been long enough time? Or can I actually get information about what's happening and when the best time to leave is? So that's a good one. Bug out vehicle. Again,
For sure.
That's in maybe just a regular vehicle. It doesn't really matter. But again, you can get a small one that fits under your seat or in the glove box. It doesn't take up that much space. They're relatively inexpensive. Why not grab one and have one in your vehicle at all times? Right. Yeah. The last place you should consider, and this is one that I've been looking at that I haven't done yet, but is having one at work. Right? How often are we at work? We're at work every freaking day for our entire lives. And if something happens while you're there, the power's out, the phones go out, the internet goes out, you don't know what's going on. Why not have an emergency radio in your desk you could pull out and start getting some information right away? So that's probably the last place I would put it.
Yeah.
But it's a good place to consider. So that's it, man. That's emergency,
a lot of alerts.
Emergency alerts.
Yeah,
And-
that was for dummies because
Yeah.
I am not in any way a radio expert.
No,
obviously.
But I it's just such good information, I think, for all preppers
Yeah.
to consider.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. You need that radio.
You do. You really do. Also, Cam, if you didn't know, electrolyte deficiency or imbalances can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, and weakness. All bad things.
I got all those.
I got all the time. Unless I'm drinking my LMNT, which I had yesterday, actually. As people who want to be prepared and ready for anything, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. That's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with LMNT. That's LMNT. It is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with 0 sugar. LMNT is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low-carb, or paleo diets. We think LMNT is perfect for bug-out bags and EDC kits. LMNT contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio: 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. If it's good enough for the Navy SEALs, for FBI sniper teams, and Marines, it's good enough for you, all right? Casual Preppers listeners can get a free LMNT sample pack when you make any purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. There are no promo codes out there. This is the only offer that they offer is with their partners. You click on the link, you get a free sample pack with all of your orders. It's pretty freaking awesome.
So cool.
Yeah, the LMNT sample pack includes 1 packet of every flavor. So this is a perfect offer for anyone who's interested in trying all the flavors, or if you want to introduce your friend to it. They offer no questions asked refunds on all orders. Now that's a beautiful thing. They're just like, yeah, I don't like it. Give me a
Take your
refund.
salt back.
Yeah. The offer may be claimed by first-time and returning LMNT customers. That is another cool thing. This offer is exclusively available through VIP LMNT partners like us. You won't find this offer anywhere else. Head to our link, drinkelement.com/casualpreppers, to get your order and your free sample pack. That is drinkelement.com/casualpreppers. There is a link on all of our socials, and there is a link in the show notes to go check it out. Literally, I had the orange last night
They're so good.
at jiu-jitsu.
I like crave them.
I do too.
It's weird.
It's when you know that you're actually
Deficient.
You're deficient in those things because like the salt, just like you feel so much better.
I do. Like,
after you get it.
sad story. We took some to California on our trip just because I like them, and my wife. Yes, I'm calling you out. She threw them away.
Oh,
Like, I think they got wadded up in like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, but super sad because I like crave them. And they taste so good. I've tried so many different mixes from different companies, and this one's like by
Yeah.
far my favorite.
Last night I actually mixed it with my fizzy water. Oh, it was so good.
That actually probably
It was
would
delicious.
be okay.
So
Be
yeah.
okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah, go
It's
get
time
it.
for the quick and dirty medical tip.
So, super common thing that I see often, especially I'm in an allergy clinic now, but
ED.
even in I'm in an ED clinic now.
Yeah.
But a rash is like one of the most frequent things that we see. But I want to talk about like off the grid type of scenario or survival scenario where you just don't have anybody to show that rash to. Can't text your friend. Sorry,
That's
you got to
true,
figure
huh?
this out. Many infections are associated with a rash. A lot of times rashes are benign. You don't have to worry about them, but a lot of times they can be an indicator of more serious illness. So this is actually from the Prepper's Medical Handbook, which I kind of, I liked this information. And again, I'm saying this as a last ditch effort. You know, you're only, you're off the grid. You can't talk to a professional. This is what you want to do.
This is not medical
You develop
advice.
a rash and a fever at the same time. It's probably best to empirically treat with an antibiotic. So get started on like doxycycline, 100 milligrams twice a day until 2 days. You know, keep doing it even a day or two after the fever has gone away. So because Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, syphilis,
dad had that once.
meningitis, did he?
He had Rocky
I
Mountain
bet.
spotted fever.
I
He
think
was
a lot of
down.
people, it gets overlooked.
He got his butt kicked.
Strep throat, measles, a lot of that stuff. I mean, you just don't know, and you don't want to risk it. You don't want to get worse. So if you have the antibiotics, you develop a rash and a fever, go ahead and start treating with some antibiotics.
Good idea.
And I know that's against everything that we are taught and learn in medicine, but again, this is a different scenario.
Yeah.
Just letting you nurses out there know.
Please do not email us. And again, this is not medical
Nothing
advice.
against nurses, but they seem to be the ones that jump on me.
Yeah.
And I don't mean
lucky boy.
in that setting. Yeah. So, and then the other thing, most definitely have Benadryl.
Yeah.
So 25 milligrams, 1 to 2 tabs with that rash too, every 6 hours will make you tired for the rest of your life. But
Sounds good.
it is going to clear up most rashes. So,
Nice.
anyways, I thought I'd throw that in there with super good information from the Prepper's Medical Handbook. Again, check that book out. But
Beautiful.
That's pretty awesome stuff. So
That's very good. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate you listening. Please follow us on all the socials. That's Instagram. That's TikTok. That's Facebook. That's Twitter. That's YouTube.
NOAA Radio.
NOAA channel
EAS.
1A. It's in the game. Yeah, we appreciate you. We love you. Next week, you're going to get an episode that's not live because I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun anyways. So don't worry about it. Right, Cameron?
It'll be good. It'll
Okay.
be good. You'll like it.
All right. Stay survived.